I'll be telling the story of the glowing princess. So once upon a time, there was a king, and the king's on one day he became very ill, and and there was only one thing in the entire world which could save him, and that was clay or the soil, which was 10 years old, and it must be taken from a hare's burrow, from a rabbit's burrow. And the king had a son. The princess, he was very determined to save his father, but he did not know how. I mean, how could someone possibly know how to collect a soil which was which is 10 years old? The prince was very nervous, but he had to save his father's life. So he went out on a on a search for the soil which was 10 years old. So he was searching for hours, for hours, and he found nothing. But he didn't give up. He still continued searching, and after a few days, he at last found a rabbit, which led him to its burrow. And when he found the rabbit's burrow, the burrow was actually inside a cave, so he went inside the cave to collect the soil. But when he went inside the cave, he saw a huge giant, and he was extremely frightened when he saw the giant. He started to escape from the cave, but the giant dragged him back and captured him in a small box. Um, the the prince was extremely scared, and he didn't know what to do. He fainted inside the box, and the next day he woke up, and the rabbit transformed into a glowing princess, which released the prince. And he, uh, and the and the glowing princess, she also gave the prince a sample of the soil from her burrow, and that is way more than 10 years old. It may be even 100 years old. So the prince um, was very grateful to the was very grateful to the princess for saving his life, and even his father's life. So he promised the princess that he will come back for her, and he will release her from the giant. But first, he had to save his father's life. So he went back to the palace and saved his father's life with this soil sample. So now he went back to the cave and saved the princess. And saving the princess was not an easy task, because he had to distract the giant, and then he had to save the princess. Anyway, he saved the princess, but she still had the giant spell on her, which is she will turn to a rabbit. She will turn to rabbit every once in a while, and she does not know how or when. So it was a bit tricky for both of them. And the only way he could take the spell off of her was that if the princess walks through golden mist, the spell or the curse will be removed. But I mean, how could someone walk into a golden mist? The the princess was he started to think for a bit. He was thinking, and he came up with no idea. So he started a quest on finding golden mist, and at last he reached the palace, where the king rewarded golden dust for anyone who shows him a woman or a girl who is more gorgeous and more glowing than his own daughter. Then the prince got an idea, and obviously the glowing princess is the most glowing of all the women. So he took the princess and showed her to the king, and the king was quite amused, and uh, rewarded the prince with golden dust. And the prince also had one more favor from the king, and the favor was that he asked the king to fire or to shoot the golden dust towards the princess, so that all the golden dust compiled on one another would be a form of golden mist. And his plan worked out, and when the princess walked through the golden mist, her spell was removed, and she was so much grateful to the prince that both of them got married and led a happy life ever after. And from then they never went towards the cave of the giant, and they led a happy life with the kids. Thank you.